I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the progress of our project over the past year. But before we get into it, I thought it'd be good to start with a little bit of a quiz. And we've even got some nice prizes to give out. So for folks to shout out the answer if you know the answer to the question. I'd even look for a volunteer to help giving out the prizes, somebody close to the stage. Thank you. No, you can be in charge. Okay, so shout out the answer if you know it. Okay. How old is DPDK as a code base? 14. Bingo. Yep, 14 years. Well done. So Intel started giving out the code for free in about 2010. How about as an open source project? Yep. Good job. Robin over here. Well done. Yeah, created the community with a bunch of the partners that are here today about 11 years ago. A bit trickier, what was the original name for DPDK as a code base? Go ahead. Yeah, well done. So this was before my time, but LWRTE, so it stands for Lightweight Runtime Environment. And this was the original name of DPDK. And this is the reason why DPDK libraries start with RTE as opposed to DPDK today, because of the original name. So, okay, more quizzes to come. Don't worry if you didn't win a prize. You got another chance coming up. So on with the session. Okay, and I'm going to get going by doing a run through of our project members. And like any good treasurer, I'm going to do this through the lens of the project budget. Okay, so I'll go through the expense column in a little bit to talk about where we're spending our money on your behalf. But right now, we're just going to focus on the project income. Okay, so more than 90% of our income comes from our project sponsors. Okay, and I think it's worthwhile to give a quick round of applause for the companies among us here who helped to fund the project and put on events like this. So thanks to all our gold and silver members. They're also typically the most active code contributors, and we'll get around to that in a minute. So these folks are paid up members. So one of the perks of that is you get a seat on the governing board and help to drive some of the decisions on DPDK direction and take votes on some important topics that are coming up. We had a very productive board meeting here last night, despite the jet lag. And the same for the tech board meeting also happened last night. So we've got membership from all of our project sponsors represented here. A lot of folks in the room, many on the bridge, and the same on our tech board side. So I'd ask that the members of the tech board and the governing board just stand up for a second so we can see them around the room. Right, look, quite a crowd. So thanks, folks, for all the time and the effort that you put into the project. It's not always easy, but it's almost always worthwhile. And for everybody else here, if you've got input on the project, please go and seek out one of these folks that was just standing up. We're more than happy to talk about anything to do with the project this week or at any time. So thanks again to all of our board members. Okay. So now talk about the progress that we've made as a project over the last year. And that means going back to the budget, says the treasurer. So this time we're going to focus on the expenditure column. And I'm going to talk on each of the major categories of where we're making investments. So into our events, into our community lab, and into our community and marketing efforts. This is where the project dollars are spent, and we like to give members transparency over the benefits that we're all getting from all this expense. One question that you might be asking, based on the full year budget, is why is the expense greater than the income? Or you might ask it a different way, hey Robin, you're doing a bad job of being a treasurer, aren't you? But there is an answer for this. So over the last couple of years, we've been through global pandemic and we've had steady stream of income from all of our sponsors, but we haven't had the opportunity to spend that money on things like these events. So we've got a little bit of cash balance left over. And as a governing board, we've decided that it's worthwhile to overinvest in some of these areas for the benefit of the community. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. So, you know, we're putting a lot of money into things like events and the community lab and so on. So I'm going to go through each one of these and just, you know, show where the benefits are coming from. Okay, but before we do that, go back to another section of the quiz. This time about the summit. Okay, first one. Who knows when was the first DPDK summit? Who said that? Yep. 2014, that was the first DPDK summit. Good job, Constantine. There was the first community event in 2013. It was called the DPDK Seminar, but the first real DPDK summit was in 2014. So we're actually here in the 10th anniversary of the first summit. And who knows where it was held? Or can take a guess. Go ahead, Kev. No. Any guesses? Say again? Yeah, San Francisco. Close enough. It's worth the prize. Well done. And the proof of all this is available on the DPDK website. Okay, so you can go there. The talks are recorded and they're still available. You can see Venki talking about, you know, what we were doing at the time. Okay, one more shot for quiz prizes and coming up in a little bit if you didn't get one that time. So let's talk about the events this year. So we ran two events this year. First one was in Bangkok in Thailand, and we were really targeting our community in the APAC region. You can see it worked pretty well based on the breakdown of the attendees per region. The second event is this one here in Montreal. And, you know, overall, we've had more than 200 attendees over, you know, in our DPDK events this year, which is great. More than 40 technical sessions. Compare that to that first summit 10 years ago, there was 7 sessions there. You know, lots of growth. And of course, this provides great opportunity for us all to get together as a community, have some time to meet with the governing and tech boards, spend time together, and I hope we can all agree that this is project money well spent. And you know, we get a lot of value out of these events. They're worthwhile of your time, and they're worthwhile of your company's resources. So you know, thanks for traveling for this, and yeah, this is you know, a great part of what it means to be part of the DPDK community. Okay, so the second major recipient of project spend in this year has been our community lab, and that's managed by our friends at UNH. So Patrick and the team are going to go into a lot more details on this in their tech talks over the week. But I just wanted to share some of the high-level metrics that we've got here. You can see they're running tens of thousands of tests, picking up thousands of failures and sending that back as fixes to get done in the code base. They've also this year put significant effort into building out our DPDK test suite framework, you know, which supports our development community. So, you know, great evidence of investment back into the community through this, and thanks to UNH team for making this happen. We've also spent money this year upgrading equipment in the lab. So we're testing on the latest hardware, and this includes NICs and accelerator devices from our project sponsors. All of this takes investment, and the board is happy to provide it as it benefits our developers a lot. Okay, and now that brings us around to our developers and the code contributions that all you folks have made over the past year. So many thanks to Ben and Thomas for providing the data here. First, you can see the geographic spread of our code contributors for the past year. We're really a global project. 3 major bases in North America, Europe, and in Asia. It's nice to see Ireland on the map there. We also got our top 10 contributors at the bottom, and there's some new faces there versus last year. So great to see new people participating, making great contributions into our community. Then in terms of the code itself, so I won't steal the thunder from any of the talks that are coming up over the next couple of days, but some high-level takeaways are here. So we've had 3 major releases over the last year and 9 LTS releases, 130 new contributors, and more than 3,000 patches coming from 300 overall individual contributors. And that covers many tens of thousands of lines of code that's gone into making improvements in things like mbuffs or offloads or new device drivers. So thanks to our developers, you guys in the room on the bridge, well done on a great year. I look forward to hearing all about this in the talks coming up over the next couple of days. Thanks, folks. Okay, so one more run around on the quiz. All right, and this one's down to do with the code base. Little more difficult questions. We'll start with how many patches have been submitted to DPDK since the start to the nearest 10,000? Thomas submitted or replied? I'm using your answer that you gave. So let's say submitted. Any guesses? Okay. Nope, bit lower. Any guesses? No, we had a 200. That was too high. Getting close there, 180. Keep going. More. Yeah, well done, Bruce. Yeah, okay. So I'm determined to get the prizes given out. So that's patches since the start. One more question. So we've heard about the 130 new code contributors. This year, to the nearest 100, how many total individual contributors have contributed into DPDK over the years? Just making sure you guys are still listening. No. More than 1,000. Less than 2,000. This is like a binary search. Very close. Yes, well done. 1,300 individual contributors over the years. So, it's amazing. DPDK is still growing. 10% new contributors now after 14 years of code contribution. So, great advertisement for the community and the code that we're all invested in. Okay, that's it on the quizzes. Hard luck if you didn't get a prize. You got one left. Okay, you can get that as the volunteer for giving out the prizes. So one last kind of investment area to discuss, and that's around our marketing, and that's led very capably by our expert, Ben Thomas. So you should all know Ben. He's been very active presenting our outward face out of the DPDK project. If you don't, he's here. Ben, will you stand up and say hello? Please, folks, make sure you introduce yourselves over the next 2 days to Ben. He's done a tremendous job getting the word out through multiple different vehicles, things like our user stories, developer spotlights, the DPDK newsletter. These are just a few examples. The whole purpose is to show how DPDK is benefiting our users, our customers, our companies. And This has a direct impact on the visibility of the project and the health of the project, and Ben measures this through metrics like our website visits, downloads, social media activity, all of which are trending up from the last year. So like, this is really a great job, and a little bit of an ask here to help to keep driving these in the right direction. Like I said, this brings in more developers, it brings in more users, it brings in more customers. So let's all help Ben to keep this momentum going. And there's a couple of simple ways to do that. So he often asks folks to participate in things like the DPDK blog, or to create a user story as you know, how your company is using DPDK. And then also, while we're here, so there's a William Gray boardroom is downstairs on the second floor. Ben's got that set up to do some little informal interviews that he's going to film and create a marketing montage out of that. So please find 5 minutes of your day, go down, talk to Ben in the room, and we'll use that to build up, you know, a kind of a community-wide message on the benefits of DPDK. Okay, nearly done. So maybe a little bit talk about going forward. And you know, we spent all that time talking about what we've done over the past year. Now, looking forward, we had a governing board meeting last night where we were talking about some of the future directions of the project. Same thing from the tech board side. Just a couple of takeaways from that, and maybe some food for thought for folks. So of course, like DPDK's bread and butter, continue to support new devices and integration with adjacent projects in the networking stack, the cloud stack, etc. But we also would like to encourage folks to focus in on users and app developers, particularly in areas where DPDK isn't, you know, hasn't been super active. Things like deployment in the cloud, right? High performance applications deployed in the cloud. Things like AI, things like security and usability of the code. We've got a couple of ideas sessions that are going to happen in the conference. There's one today, I think there's one tomorrow. So please participate in those. You know, please think about these kind of areas as you're working out, you know, where the code base is going next. And let's continue to grow the project. Okay, so that's pretty much it for me. Just a little bit on the logistics for the rest of the week. Yes, there is food. So we're going to have breaks and lunch all out here 3 times a day, today and tomorrow. Tonight, you're all invited. Please come join us at our reception. It's not in the hotel, it's just across the road. It's less than a 1-minute walk. We're going to go there at 7 o'clock, leave around 6, start early. But you know, we've got food and beer there, so looking forward to seeing you over there after the conference today. And you've already met Evie and Bridget outside. If you've got any questions about the conference itself or things in the surrounding area, the guys are going to be here all day today and tomorrow, so please reach out for information. And that's it. Thanks a lot, guys. And yeah, really looking forward to, hope you enjoyed the summit.